Hi, I'm Betsy Bauer, and welcome to my dad's welding shop, Bauer Welding and Ornamental Iron. I grew up working here and blacksmithing here, right in this back corner, and learning how to weld from my father, Tom Bauer. I was inspired by my dad's friend, Deloy Larson. He was an inventor and metalsmith and blacksmith, and he had this amazing workshop that reminded me of something you'd find in a fairy tale. You'd go in and he invented all of his machines and tools. He made his own tools, and almost by himself, he created these magical, amazing sculptures. And when I saw that, I felt like anything was possible. And I wanted to create sculptures like that too. I mean, it's super simple. The best advice I ever got was, don't think, just do. Because when you overanalyze something, you're not coming from your heart. You're not coming from your being. Most artists are channels anyway. It comes through them. And so just don't think, don't get in your own way, just jump in. Okay, so if I'm doing a piece for somebody else, like when I would work with Sean Rivet, we would feed off of each other's energy. And he would come with this idea and he'd have a super simple, quick sketch. But because I could feel his enthusiasm around it, I knew exactly what he was looking for. Like, I could see the vision. And when people are highly visual, it's just like, I like to make things tangible. That's why I'm into sculpture, because it's like this three-dimensional thing. And I have to see it in my mind's eye in order to do it. And so my process with, especially working with other people, if they don't have a vision, I can't give it to them. But if they have, like, if they're giving me complete creative freedom, then I could come up with whatever, anything. But if they have a vision, I can bring their vision to life. And that's my, I think, my number one, like, skill, like, gift that maybe not everybody has naturally. But the other, so if I'm doing my own project, that's a whole different process, because I'm coming from a place of trying to get it just like what I'm trying to envision. And it's usually a feeling that I'm trying to bring to life versus just an image. So it's creating a drawing is usually the best way to kind of visualize what I'm trying to do. And yeah, and then making a maquette, making something smaller so that I can work with it, turn it around, view it from a 360-degree angle, and then bring it to life.
Now that we have checked out Betsy's awesome studio and how she works, we are going to be creating our own project inspired by her work. Betsy is a great example of the many different ways that sculpture can be done. Sculptures are usually 3D, well, always 3D, and Betsy does all different kinds. Today we are going to be making what's called a relief sculpture. And a relief sculpture basically just means that it's objects that come off of a flat surface. We saw many examples of this with Betsy's work. She has the snakes that used to be at the neck. She's got that really cool butterfly wing. Lots of different kinds of examples of relief sculptures. So today we're going to be doing something called paper quilling. And this can be a really cool way to kind of create a sculpture effect with paper. This is my example. It's of a horse. It's kind of hard to tell just because of the way I laid it out, but yours are going to look much better. So paper quilling, in your little kit, basically you have your horse head template. You should have some various strips of colored paper. And you also have this weird looking little thing. Now normally when people do paper quilling, they have what is called a paper quilling tool. Those can get kind of pricey, so we kind of did some homemade ones. These are going to be very helpful to you. You also have a glue stick, and you may need to grab a pair of scissors just in case you want to cut your strips a little shorter. Now, paper quilling is basically just taking a piece of paper, just like this, and you're going to insert it into that little tool. See, it's between those two pieces of wire, but I'm going to put it down to the end, just like this, And basically you just start to spin that tool, and it's just spinning that paper or quilling it until you get to the end. And I like to twist it so that you know it's nice and tight. But that is basically what it looks like once you're done. Now, you're just gonna kind of let go very carefully, not too, and then carefully pull it off. It might kind of resist you. And once it comes off, you have a little coil. These are called coils. Now, you can take your glue stick right away, and if you want to keep that nice tight coil, you're just going to take the end, put some glue on it, and then hold it down. And there you have your first little paper coil. Now, as you'll see on that sheet that we've given you, there are a lot of different styles of coils that you can make. So what I recommend doing is using your little tool, grabbing a bunch of different colors, and just start making those little coils. Just make a whole bunch of them, which I already did off camera. So I've got a whole bunch of these little paper coils. Now these are all much looser than that first one I made because I didn't glue them down right away. I kept them open just in case I want to try and make some of these shapes. And you can make them bigger or smaller depending on what you need for your sculpture. So with my little looser coil here, I'm going to glue this end down. I'm going to show you a couple examples of different shapes you can make with your coils. So I glued that end down. Now, one very, very popular shape that you'll see a lot is kind of like, it looks like a teardrop or a raindrop. And how you do that is just at the top, you just pinch, just like that. Pinch your paper. I don't know if you need. And then once you let it go, you're gonna have a teardrop shape. Put that up there. Another really popular shape that you see a lot in paper quilling is the same kind of thing, but they bend, but you can do different shapes like a triangle. If I just bend 3 sides instead of 2, or 1 with the first one. You can do a triangle. Do blue. You can even put a curve in these using my finger. Curve that side and bend these outer 2 just around my finger like that. And you can get a crescent kind of moon shape. And like I said, if you look on that sheet, there are so many different possibilities. So play around with these. See what kind of shapes you can come up with. What kind of shapes you think would work best for your horse sculpture. This one's a square, just bending 4 corners instead of just 2. So yeah, play around, try out different shapes, have fun with it, make lots of coils. Now, the next stage, what I really liked about Betsy in her video, she talked about how important it is to be a planner when it comes to making sculptures and making art. You really got to think through, especially when it comes to sculptures, how you want it to look in the end and all the different steps you're going to have to take before you get to that stage. So look at your horse and you can kind of start to plan, what colors are you going to use in certain areas? What shapes are going to look the most like an eye, the most like an ear, the most like its nose? You can have a lot of fun playing with the different shapes for different areas. Think about how you want the hair to look. How's the hair going to flow? Is it going to have flowing hair like it's in the wind? Yeah, Betsy's sculptures have lots of texture and lots of movement in them. They don't look like they're sitting still most of the time. And like I said, I just thought about what kind of shape I would want its eye to have, what kind of shapes a horse's eye usually has. And then just play around with bending those quills and creating the different shapes you want. So have fun with it. I hope you guys enjoy this project and learning something cool like paper quilling.
Okay. Thank you for visiting my dad's workshop. I hope you have a great spring break and check out the Nick and check out all their cool programs there.